So guess what? I wore my retro Royal Credit Union shirt today.
I noticed.
What's going on here today? What are we doing?
We are here at the Brewing Project in Eau Claire, Wisconsin, celebrating Royal's 60th anniversary. And we are joined by former Uniroyal employees who actually started Royal Credit Union 60 years ago. It's so much fun. We already have a line out the door of people waiting to get in. We had some awesome speeches this morning from our President and CEO, Brandon Rickers, from a former Uniroyal employee, and from one of our board members.
That's good. I see Daryl come into the room right now, so I'm going to grab him, and then we'll get him set up, and we'll do this. Welcome to Money Donuts. It's our podcast through Royal Credit Union. Tell us a little bit about your involvement with the credit union.
Okay. I believe that and before me in 63, I think, they had a supplement strike, and out of the strike came the right to form credit union, Royal Credit Union, which started in 1964. And I started in 1965, and it was pretty much a union-run operation at that time, but the company did do the work with withholding if you wanted savings or checking. They couldn't have checking yet, but savings and stuff like that. So what I remember most about it was real personal, because we knew the people that went in there. Mr. Thompson, John, I believe, came right out of the tread room, and I worked just below him in the Banbury. But so we all became members, and we became happy with it. And it was a way for us to get a car loan, get a loan for a stove, get a loan for a refrigerator. Because in them days, they weren't big enough, to loan for houses and stuff. And we weren't regulated for that, which came under Charlie Grosskreutz tenure when that all opened up. So the board members for many, many, many years were all from the union. And later the company joined in with us. And matter of fact, one of the guys that worked at Uniroyal became a longtime board. Well, a lot of them did. John Barsimi and Norm Decker. I can go on and on and on. So we became a community thing, and one of the best operations in the city for working people. So what I remember is I could go up there and I knew somebody. If I wanted to talk personal, the head of the credit union would meet with us. And so it was really a family personal thing.
That's awesome. And it's really special to know that even though 60 years have gone by, some things just stay the same. People helping people, being here to help people reach their goals and buy a house, get a car loan, get a boost in their savings. It all comes full circle.
Well, the credit union, and in 92, of course, we had the shutdown. And that was the credit union was a blessing. We had some young finance people and people with rollover experience in financing that could really help us over the tide. I never forgot that. It was really a big thing. It gave us a life after, because we had a way to deal with our finances that we could trust. And later we got into all the home loans and stuff like that. But I'm amazed how the leadership has took over and became one of the most influential financials in the state of Wisconsin and even in Minnesota. So we're happy that it's our legacy. We're happy they remembered us. We started the school program, which we're very proud of, and we gave a lot of counseling to people that borrow money. Back in the days when we went to college before the federal government got involved in it, we counseled them all, say what you need here and don't overdo it. And it's just been a family community thing that grew in to one of the finest organizations in the state of Wisconsin and beyond.
Let's talk about today. How has it been reconnecting with some of the past Uniroyal employees and having those conversations? Any good conversations today?
One of my former bosses was there. We're so glad we reminisced. One gentleman came up and he said, well, my wife was a Wiccan that I never even knew about. Been gone for years, and he says, well, she was my wife. Things come up from 40, 50 years ago, you kind of forget about. But seeing the people and the glow in their eyes about what we started and how happy we are that we're here today. Look at the line outside, my goodness gracious. So it's something that was remembered, it's something to be remembered, and it's something that's going on. Very humbling sight.
If you could describe how you're feeling today in one word, what would that word be?
Humbled. And
It's
very
special.
satisfied.
Yeah, it's special to see.
It's a very special thing to be recognized. It's a special thing to be part of. That what we started is such a big part of the city and community and beyond.
Daryl, I think that's all we're going to ask you. I appreciate you taking the time to do this.
Thank you.
Enjoy the party.
Always thank you.
Yes, thank you.
We're now joined by Judy. Judy, what's your position at Royal Credit Union?
I am the Business Services Supervisor, and I have been here for 25 years.
Tell me a little bit about what it was like when you joined Royal in the first part.
So when I first joined Royal, I had the best job ever. I was part-time. My daughter was little, and I was able to stay home more with her, and I received all the nice benefits from Royal, so I had the best part-time job ever. And then as my children got older, then I became full-time and have continued to grow at the credit union.
Do you remember why you applied in the first place?
I applied because they were very flexible with the hours. So when I started, our office was open 10 to 7, which meant that my daughter wasn't in daycare. My kids were never in daycare for 40 hours. And so I was able to come in a little later. My husband would pick up the kids, so my kids were never in daycare. So that family balance was very important.
That's awesome. Do you have a favorite memory from your time here at Royal? Something that you always look back on and just
I have
brings
a
you
lot
joy?
of them.
Yeah,
So when I
bet.
was in the office, I started in the office, and I loved it when I received nice flowers and thank you notes and hugs from members. And so I still see members to this day.
Yeah, talk about that member focus of, members were very important then and they're very important now to us.
Right. So one of the things I did consumer lending in the office, and you would have a positive experience with the member. And so it was up to over 5 years that they continued to call me. When I left the front line and became in the business department where I didn't do the lending, they would still call me. And they would want to do a car loan with me because they had enjoyed the experience prior. So people tend to, do that car loan within that 5-year period. So they'd reach in their wallet and get my business card out. So I would say also the team member experience, I have met a lot of wonderful people over the years.
My last question for you today is what does it feel like to be here celebrating 60 years?
It's pretty awesome to be here for the 60-year celebration. So hope to be here for many more.
If you could describe how you're feeling today in one word, what would that word be?
Positive. I think that RCU has continued to do many positive things. I'm looking at the line right now of the people that are, three sideways, deep quarter miles. So they all want to be here. So that's pretty cool.
All right. Well,
Thank
thanks for
you.
joining us. We're joined by Tom Huffcutt, the Royal Credit Union board president. Tom, how did you get involved with the credit union?
Well, this is actually the second credit union board I've been on. I was on a board of an institution called the Cornerstone Credit Union in Freeport, Illinois, and they had trouble attracting or recruiting board members, so they usually took young managerial types and said, hey, this would be a good experience for you. And so that's how I got into the credit union movement. So when we moved to Eau Claire, I had that background. And a coworker who was also on the board, Doug Olson, invited me to join the nominating committee, and from there I joined the board.
What do you remember? What drew you to the credit union movement right away when you joined that first board?
Well, like many people, I didn't know what a credit union was when I joined. It was just a financial institution. But I quickly learned about the member-owned cooperative structure and how it was focused on members, all members, members of means, members of less means, better rates, and I think better customer service and convenience. and a real focus on the member, not a shareholder somewhere that had to be appeased. So,
What excited you about Royal Credit Union when you learned about what we had going on here?
well, I'm a Chippewa Falls native, and so I knew of Royal before I moved. And then when we moved back, it had become an even larger and more formidable institution. And so I other than the financial part, I knew about the race, the charity race, and some of the other giving back to the community, the charitable type stuff. So I knew that before I knew, the other part, the financial part.
How does it feel to be here today celebrating 60 years of Royal Credit Union?
It's kind of hard to fathom, and as we're sitting here, I'm looking out over your shoulder at a long, long line of people waiting to get in the building, and so it's kind of overwhelming to have that kind of interest, but it's also a delight to have people sharing in this celebration. I happen to be just a little bit more than 60, so I can appreciate what that means, how long that really is. And again, it's humbling to think about our modest beginning and how far we've come.
For people who don't know what a board of a credit union does, can you kind of explain what your guys' role
Sure.
is?
So we have a governance role, not an operational role. So the board will set policy, the board will set a tone, the board offers broad guidance to the management team, and the board hires the CEO, and that individual is charged with actually running the credit union. The CEO hires their team and manages their team to basically make things work. So we have a much broader 30,000 foot view of things. We should also be keeping our eye on the horizon. We should be thinking strategy, not just what we are and what we've been, but what we are or should become. And we need to kind of keep our eye out on the horizon.
I have a question that might be a little sensitive, if that's okay. So, talking about forward thinking, the future of Royal, keeping our eye on the horizon, what can you say to members who maybe are a little leery about our growing size and if we're going to change too much from our roots? Or
That's a good question. The trick, I think, is to honor our legacy, but not be bound or captive to it, because then you can wither and I guess fade into irrelevance. I don't see that happening. So growth is good because growth provides you the means to serve all members. Security and regulatory concerns are very, very high. Scale, size, which comes from growth, gives you the means to manage that on behalf of all members. Size also allows you to invest in both branches and remote access, like your phone or your iPad or whatever. Those are two very different channels, but they're both very valued by our members. But you can't provide both without the means, and that comes from growth. So our heart is in Eau Claire. This is where we started. It sort of remains our home. But as we push into other parts of Wisconsin and the Twin Cities, in order to serve this population here, we really need to kind of push into there. But it's important that we do it intentionally, that you just don't do it for growth's sake. We look for communities or areas where our value proposition resonates. We look for communities like this, smallish, small townish, where you can know your neighbor, you can know your small businesses, you can know your nonprofit community, so that we can kind of help each other.
yeah, and I think that's so important that our values and our members will always be the center focus.
That is correct. The member value is at the center at each and every decision the board and the management team makes.
All right, thank you. Enjoy the celebration.
Thank you. So long.
So we're recording live at the Brewing Project in Eau Claire.
It is popping in here. We got live music downstairs that I can feel in my feet.
Yes. I might have picked the worst place to set up the recorder today, but I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing.
Well, Steve, if we didn't have you, I don't know where we'd be. So, yeah, we're having a lot of fun. We've interviewed a board member. We've interviewed a team member, a former Uniroyal employee.
How about Daryl? Anything that struck you, piqued your interest about Daryl?
Talking with Daryl gives me a greater appreciation for where we're at today and the privilege it is to work at Royal Credit Union. And it's such an honor to be able to face the people who started this credit union and actually be able to extend my thanks to them and to hear their stories. And he's been talking a lot about legacy, and that also gives me a greater sense of ownership over my role in this credit union to make sure that we continue pioneering, to make sure that we continue to hold true to the values that started Royal 6 decades ago.
Yeah, and then it's great to hear from Tom, who's talking about our future and why it's important to have all the services and be big enough to serve all of our members completely, and just have those two sides. And then we had Judy in the middle, who is talking. She kind of talked about the whole thing of our member focused ability to be here for our members.
Yeah, and she's been here 25 years, so I mean that's outstanding, and I hope that's my goal. Career goals right there.
As we go through today, we'll continue to bring people on the podcast. They're serving beer up here too. And it looks like they're starting to let people inside.
I see your family.
Oh yeah. Uh-oh. Now I'm in trouble. My family's here.
Yeah, it'll be fun. We'll probably be asking some financial related questions.
Yes.
Get a pulse, see what people are thinking, how they're feeling about finances, and if we can help them in any way.
Sounds good. All right.
I am joined by Chuck, who is a Royal member. Chuck, how long have you been a member of Royal Credit Union?
About 2 years.
2 years, okay. And what was it that drew you to Royal to become a member?
Originally, the CD rates.
Oh, yeah. There's been lots of those over the past couple of years, yeah.
Or the high CD
The
rate.
high ones,
Higher,
they've always been around, but lately they've been a lot higher than in the past. Yeah. What else can you tell me about your membership at Royal?
The building that houses the credit union in Medford used to be Industrial Credit Union and then People's Choice Credit Union. And way back when, I was on the board of directors.
You were?
Yes.
For how long?
3-4 years.
Really? Wow, okay. Can you talk to me a little bit about being on a board of directors for a credit union, what that means for members, for the community?
Well, you're required to make long-range decisions. I remember when CD rates were coming down, how much money to lock in to preserve the assets and how much to not in case something happened. And, you do the best you can, but in retrospect, sometimes it was a great idea. Sometimes it was a poor decision. You just have to live with it.
Yeah, kind of make decisions as they come and try and do the best you can. Now, I'm going to ask you a finance-related question. Is that okay?
I probably aren't going to give you a good answer, but that's fine.
Okay. One question I have for you is, what advice do you wish you would have learned or followed in your younger years as it relates to finances?
There's a chart that I saw years ago. If you took the $2,000 and put it into your IRA, and you just did that every month, year to year to year, in 20 years it was like $1.5 million even back then. And it's easy to say, well, I don't have the money right now, but my advice is set it aside, do without some things, and plan for the future.
That's great advice. And I have one last question for you. How does it feel to be here today celebrating 6 decades of Royal Credit Union?
Well, I don't have a whole lot of feeling for it because I haven't been around here for 60 years. But I really appreciate the credit union doing something like this for people and then tying it into the Uniroyal employees. I think that's just a great idea. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you for joining. We are a little over an hour into this amazing 60th anniversary celebration. Cooper, how you doing?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, I just got here, got that second shift, so it's been fun though. My gosh, the amount of people here.
Oh my gosh.
It's so cool.
I
So
think
fun.
we're down to standing room only, just about. It's so amazing to have all these people come out to celebrate our anniversary. Like, can you believe it?
Years.
What has been your favorite part of today so far?
Oh my gosh. I don't know. I think seeing all the people, I love the pint glasses that we were giving away. I think my favorite part will be when I get to try the Royal Ale.
I haven't tried it yet. I'm looking forward to
I've
that.
heard it's really good. So I got my ticket ready in my bag.
I've been asking some people for some jokes.
Ooh.
Do you have one to share?
Alexis.
I know, I put you on the spot. I feel like I need to give people a heads up if I'm going to be asking them for jokes.
See, because like I have my go-to joke. If you like I can't tell it every time, right? Like I need a new spiel.
Yeah. Well, here, how about you think about it? We'll come back in a little bit, and then I'm getting ready to laugh. So. Okay. We are back at Royal's 60th anniversary celebration. Who do I have joining me today?
Chuck Hubbard.
And Tom Hubbard.
All right, welcome. How long have you guys been Royal members?
30 years. Yeah, we're since 91, but you know, we probably set up an account for him even before he started putting money in. So he's probably been close to 30 years.
So how does it feel to be here at Royal's 60th anniversary, knowing that we've been around this long?
It's pretty awesome. We moved down from Ashland in 1991, and I had a friend from XL Energy that was, you know, a member of RCU, and he sold RCU on me when I came down here. So that's where we started with, you know, right away when we came down here.
Awesome. And thinking back over the years and your time as members, what would be one word that you would use to describe being a member of Royal Credit Union?
Safety, maybe. I feel like my money's safe with RCU. Yep.
Local. I like that.
Yeah, that's a big thing for us. Both of those are big things for us. And can I ask you, do you have any good jokes?
I'll leave that one to you.
I love a good joke.
I got a good pirate one. Here you go. What's a pirate's favorite letter?
I think I know this one. R. R.
No, matey. The first love is the sea.
I haven't heard that version. That's good. That's good. What advice do you have for maybe people who are just starting out with their finances? What's one piece of advice that you'd give them?
Make sure to invest.
Yep, I was going to say that.
Always invest. You know, it's hard to do, but it pays dividends. No pun intended.
I know that's something a lot of people struggle with because they're like, I need my money to pay bills and do all this other things, but it is an important part of finances.
If you don't invest, you won't have it when you retire. It's hard to retire if you don't invest.
Yeah, the awesome thing
and I am retired.
Yeah, well, congratulations. The awesome thing is we actually have a Money Donuts episode all about investing, so that's a good thing to check out. But thank you for being here.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you. Take care.
I am here with Judy. Judy, how are you today?
Great, Alexis. Thank you.
Good. Well, how is it being here at this amazing celebration?
Well, one, it's great. You know, 60 years being in business for anything is great. Being on a financier is even better. So,
yeah. How long have you been a member of Royal?
43 years.
43. That's amazing.
I also know how a credit union works and that we're all members, and that means a big difference. And so, you know, I've been with them since I moved here to Eau Claire.
Can you share with me a little bit more about how much it means to you to be a member?
So, just knowing, well, once you investigate the difference between a credit union and a bank, just knowing how that membership works and how fee-based things work between the two, it just makes better financial sense to be that member. Knowing I have a voice, because I can also vote, I can also run for a board spot if I want. Knowing that I have that representation is also important.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, one final question. If you could just describe how you're feeling today in this celebration in one word, what would that word be?
Well, happy. I mean, a celebration's always happy.
Yeah.
And, I guess thinking that a business, I'm honored to be part of it because I know how good it is.
Well, that means a lot. And we're so grateful to have you as a member. And
thank you.
Yeah, so of course. Well, thanks for joining.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Thanks.
Well, hello, Scott. How are
Hello.
you?
I am doing extremely well. It's a vertical, sucking air, and ornery as ever.
It really couldn't be better, could it?
No.
No. I
Yeah.
didn't think
This
so.
is amazing.
Yeah, it is. It's an awesome event. So Scott, why are we talking to you? What's your history here with Royal?
With Royal, I started 15 years ago as a leadership trainer and coach, and did customer service training, and I retired a year ago this previous April, and have been enjoying retired life, kind of, for a little bit. Yeah.
And we've still seen you around quite a bit. Which
Oh,
is
yeah.
exciting. Because
Yep.
you're pretty active out in the community.
I've been active out in the community. I worked as the executive director of a nonprofit here in town, and just retired from that in April.
So, officially retired now.
I am officially retired. I will never work for another human being again, other than my wife. If you're watching, I work for you.
That's true. Is she here with you today?
She is actually. She's sitting at one of the tables over there.
Oh, she's not going to be surprised she came on the podcast.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah. How's it feel being here, Scott? I mean, you've been a member for what, 40
years, yeah. This is amazing to see, not only all the ex-team members who have been with the company for a long time, but to see so many members here. I can't think of another business where if they did a 60th anniversary, I got to imagine several hundred customers would show up just to sit and talk to each other and catch up. That to me defines the organization.
Absolutely. Well, that's kind of the credit union difference, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
We connect, we're cooperative, we build those relationships. And I know a couple team members were hanging out over here. They're like, oh my gosh, it's so fun to see some of the members I helped when I was back in the branches years ago.
Well, and for me, even for all the years I did customer service training, and talking to our team members, and I would look at them, and we'd have team members who were extremely successful, and I'd look at them and I'd say, "What's the secret to your success? What are you doing that's making you a legend out there?" And you know what the answer almost was invariably? I don't know. I just take care of my members. And I said, that blew me away when I kept hearing over and over again, my members, my members, my members. It wasn't our customers or our members. They viewed them as theirs. And so often, too, I get out and talk to people, and they find out I worked at RCU, and they look at me and go, oh, that's my credit union. And it's not, that's where I bank, that's where my that's my credit union.
I know, we were just talking about that. We had Brandon and Charlie actually on a podcast episode that we did last week, and we were talking about Royal growing, but how we're still those individual community-based credit unions that members are really proud to come into and know every person and every face when they walk in the branch.
Yeah, and for me, that's part of the success of the organization is that they've been able to take advantage of the scale and the size of what they can bring to the members, but still maintain that small town feel where when you walk into a Star Prairie, or you walk into a New Richmond, or you walk into an Invergrove Heights, this is my branch. It's not, this is one branch of this large organization. And people don't realize, and I'm not going to say anything as far as where they are, but don't realize the extreme advantage that Royal brings because of its size. Yeah. Well, it's been so much. For me, it just is an honor to have been a part of the history of the organization and helping the organization get to where it is today. It's absolutely a matter of pride when I look at people and they say, people say something about, oh, RCU is great. And I said, yep, I worked there for a while. Amazing organization.
Absolutely. Do you have any, one financial tip that you would tell people, or one financial thing you
Oh, God. I keep telling people, and especially young people, start saving now. Now that I've retired. And you go, oh, my God, that's all we got. If I had started at 25, I'd have had 4 times the money I have, and I would not be here today. I'd be down on a beach someplace with again, I'm not living poor, but I keep looking when I was training all the new hires coming in, I'd always look at them and say, you start saving, you go meet with one of our financial advisors, and you start putting money away now. So there's the financial tip from the guy who was stupid and waited till it was too late.
And I always say the earlier you start saving, the less you have to save. So
Yep. Start saving at 5. Get involved in school sense and start that saving in kindergarten.
Yes, I love it. Good advice. Well, thank you for being on the podcast, Scott. It was
Thank
a pleasure.
you. I'll tell you, watch Money Donuts. You guys, what an amazing podcast. It was so much fun to watch. So it's been fun watching that grow.
All right, Cooper, I'm ready for that joke.
Oh my gosh. What do you call a fish with no eyes?
I don't know what.
Get
Steve loved it.
Why did I come back for that part of this conversation?
Well, that's what everyone else was waiting for. That's where we paused it and said, we're going to come back.
We waited 2 hours to do this. So
We
that,
waited 2 hours for that.
oh my gosh.
Cue in that, like, SpongeBob 2 hours later.
So, Cooper, we haven't talked about this yet. What has your experience been today?
Yeah, it's been really fun. It's amazing to see how many people are here and to see our executive team here and members, community members. It's really cool. They said the line was out the door this morning, like far before we opened, and Scott just talked about it a little bit with us. But how cool to be able to say that we threw a 60th anniversary event and had members and community members, lined down the block literally to come and celebrate with us. I mean, I think we're doing something right here, right? Yeah.
Alexis, any big takeaways from today from you?
I have talked to so many members today, anywhere from they've been members for the whole time, 60 years, to just 2 years. It's really cool. Some who have been members since they were kids, some who weren't members until later on in adulthood. But it's been really great to connect with members and just chit-chat about their experience, what they like, their favorite memories, and what it means to be a member of Royal.
Was there a common theme at all that you noticed with any of them? Like,
almost every single person mentions how involved we are in our communities and how local we are. And that's the thing that we really do need to remember is that, yes, we are growing. We have more than 300,000 members now, but we are still local. We do still have that community focus, and that will always be there. It's always been there, and it's such an important thing to what Royal is, who we are.
Team members who live in the communities and do day-to-day stuff, so people that you see all the time. So yeah, it is important. Will you guys commit now to redo this podcast at the 75th anniversary?
Let's do it.
All right, locked in.
We might need a bigger building.
All right, Cooper.
Steve.
If people like Money Donuts, what should they do?
They should follow us on YouTube, subscribe on YouTube, that's what you say. Follow us on Instagram, like us and subscribe on all the other platforms. Leave reviews. Alexis,
tell your neighbors.
Anything?
Follow Royal Credit Union on Facebook. You'll get lots of updates there as well, including new episodes, some upcoming sneak peeks, lots of fun things.
Yes, good stuff. All right. Is this the time I do the
Yeah,
outro
do you want me to
dance?
hold back so you can do it full force?
Wait. I feel like we have to put them outside and zoom in. Can you run to the other brewery and do your lasso?